Bird! Get him! Yeah! Ron Babe was right.
I'm feeling spry. Hey everybody, it's I don't know what is today's date. November
the 3rd.
3rd.
Yeah.
I'm at my buddy Connor's place, and I needed a little help with the intro, and I thought I'd turn it into a trivia game. Connor's been listening to the podcast for a lot of years. A lot of people tell me they skip the intro. I'm not going to ask Connor if he skips my intro, but I'm going to give him a 12-question quiz. You ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Who do you think is the title sponsor of the Hunting Dog Podcast?
That'd be On X.
You know, all right, you got the first one right.
That's easy enough.
But, you know, they sponsor a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Who makes the only lifetime guaranteed transportation crate for a dog kennel?
That would be Gunner Kennels.
God dang it. And again, I have no idea if Connor, you know, maybe he was forced early on to listen, but my sponsors do change. You've seen me hunt with my dog the other day,
yes,
right?
Sir.
Do you know who sponsors and what brand of collar my dogs wear?
Garmin, I believe.
Yep. God, that's 3 for 3. 3 for frickin' 3. All right. Do you know where I send people to get their Garmin products and any other collar that they need?
That would be a W supply.
Oh, I wish we had 2 people here and see if we had to do this more like a trivia game. Do you know what shotgun has been around only 40 years longer than Ron has in the United States?
That'd be the good folks of Mossberg.
God, you are either wise beyond your years or you've actually listened to a whole intro.
I've listened to a few of them.
Any idea what kind of shotgun shells I shoot?
That'd be the hard-hitting Boss shot shells.
Freaking A. How about what kind of dog food do my dogs eat?
Purina Pro Plan, the big old black bag.
Exactly. All right, when you see or hear me talk about spices and processing equipment, what company?
That'd be Walton's.
That'd be all day long,
Yep.
all day, all Walton's.
For all your meat processing needs.
Exactly. And you know, Walton's has a promo code of HTP10 for first time or anything off sale prices. Canine Athlete. Oh, I gave that one away, didn't I? Oh, wait. We'll just edit this. Hey, Connor, do you know what dog food and human supplement company that I use and my dogs use?
Canine Athlete.
Perfect. And they have 25% off with the promo code Canine Athlete. And that's spelled Canine Athlete for you, those of you who don't know nothing, for your first time purchase. Okay. This could be a tough one. Mm-hmm. Okay. This is a little newer. Like, what do I wear, like, for my base layers, from my underwear right to my hoodies, right to my sweatshirt? What clothing company do I?
That would be that stylish hoodie you're wearing right now called Marshwear.
Son of a bitch. They're going to get tougher here now. They're going to get tougher. When I'm wearing a rubber boot in the field, what is the name of the sponsor that is on my feet?
I think it starts with A. It's like Arcus.
Arcus.
Yeah, Arcus. There you go.
You know what? You are a true student of this podcast. Now, you know you saw me pull up in your driveway.
Oh, yeah.
What is the contraption that's on the back of my pickup truck?
That would be a 4-wheel camper.
Model freaking M. And that's what we hunted out of yesterday.
Yep.
With the custom built. That's a custom built lower dog kennel that I have in there for all of our dogs. That's a permanent fixture in there. And what would you say if a person wanted to get, like, you just got 12 out of 12. So I'm going to send you some Boss shot shells for that. But if someone were to say, like, God, I want to get more involved with the Hunting Dog Podcast and maybe meet some people and share some stories, what would you suggest they do?
Well, you can join up with the Patreon, and then from time to time you can get on, or you can watch YouTube videos, learn a little bit more about bird dogs, and from time to time you get on a Zoom room, talk shop, talk bird dogs, talk hunting.
And smoke and drink?
Smoke and drink, a little of that.
Well, and Connor's a regular on there. If you didn't... Well, anyway, I don't really care if you like that intro or not. I had to do one. We're going hunting here in a few minutes. And that's it. I love you guys. I love you girls. And I love you girls more.
All right, everybody. We are once again at White Lake Hunting Lodge in White Lake, South Dakota with Corey and Casey Gillen. You know, first question, Corey. Yeah. I noticed on all the bulletins and all the business cards, your name's first. Right? I don't see you doing anything around here. I don't see you doing anything.
We just started this. You're going to hit me with right away.
We're out of it. That's how we like to bring it up. Right in. Leave the
I think they went alphabetical order, so there wasn't a choice.
Right, yeah, it was Corey first.
Speechless.
I thought that there is, I mean, it goes into this, buddy, that you do. Behind the scenes?
What?
Did you?
Was it worked? You were a guide last year for us. You got demoted.
Yeah. How'd I do?
We've talked about it.
Well, no, that wasn't my line. Somebody else said. I mean, tips were a little shitty about it. Well, because you were a fill-in guide, so you just get substitute pay. I know, right? Right.
It's a union thing.
No, somebody said our guides got nice or worse or meaner as the week went on. But I was the first one. Right? Yeah, you were out of the gate. Yeah, see? Contrary to what you say.
Anyway, no, you guys have built from a humble beginning to a pretty big operation all of a sudden. What was the nexus of this building? Just so you could bring your tractors in?
So that's how I convinced her to let me build it. Because really, we'll use it for the hot mods, but I use it 99%. Yeah.
That's why there's a
little functionality. Oh, yeah.
And we can't smoke in here, though, can we?
We could weld.
We can weld. But we can't smoke it.
Really? Well, the stuffed animals will wick a lot of smoke, so I get it. The taxidermy, that's what we're worried about, right?
Right.
I'd have taxidermy.
Yeah. Anyway, no, you guys have put a lot. I mean, this place is, every year there's a little something else. And then I hear you're out doing a little excavating.
Well, dirt moving.
And for what?
Well, looks.
Looks? Yeah, hang on, man. Let me pause that. Someone has to go. So I just saw the excavator out there. Is this something we can look forward to next year?
Possibly.
All right.
Possibly. Depends how good the tips are this year.
Oh, God, it always goes back to the tips with you people.
Rod, I'd like to go backward for a couple minutes for clarification on something.
Sure, go ahead.
There's plenty of areas to smoke cigars and cigarettes and pipes. We're in a room that we don't smoke.
Okay. Well, I was just in Las Vegas in a casino. We smoked everywhere.
Right.
It's okay. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, but the people in Las Vegas pay for the lights. So we want to chip in for the electricity here.
Oh, come on.
Or the propane.
The one we left out all night?
You got a mouse somewhere there? Oh, I made you put your own propane tank in, so, I mean, that's...
Yeah. Yeah, you guys are spoiling us all the time. Yeah. Casey, anything new and exciting?
Nope. Same old.
Same old.
Yep.
All right, let's get a peek behind lodge owners, right? There's a lot of lodges in South Dakota. When this is done for the season, do you swear off like you're going to get divorced if you do this again next year?
I think we do enough swearing at each other during the season to last the other 10 months out.
Because I got to imagine it's like running a store and you only have one busy season, like running a grocery store. You got to have all shelves stocked. You got to have everything ready to go. Got to have your employees show up.
Yeah. For 5 weeks.
For 6, well, how many weeks? 8 weeks?
About 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And then, what do you do with all, like, do you put everything in mothballs? I mean, we know Corey uses the casino for his tractors.
And welding.
Honestly, it's a well-run plan. We plan out pretty much everything that we're going to use, and whoever comes at the end, they kind of get the best of it because Nancy's cleaning the kitchen, so she's not making the same stuff that we've had all season on the...
Oh, see, we never got that on the last podcast.
It's what you want, and I'll make that for you type service.
Hope to order.
But yeah, it takes about, I don't know, a week or so to close up shop and shut down the lodges and turn them back into just...
Then you just go back in where
building.
Mr. and Mrs. Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
And
that's where things slow down?
A little bit.
Right?
A little bit.
What about your dog situation? Not this one, but...
The dog situation is pretty steady right now.
Because we're going to bring up some highlights.
Yeah. I'm probably a little light on dogs right now. There's probably going to be, I think we've already talked about a new pup in our future. So that's going to probably happen next spring. But
Oh,
That was a guy from
it's a post-COVID pup.
yeah,
For 3 years ago.
right. Well, you know, from the shelter. No, because you have a dog that's pretty well trained that we heard about.
Yeah, well,
The one that like when because we can only get 3 birds a day a person,
yep.
and we're starting to do a head count to the end of the day so we don't overshoot. And you got a dog trained to go back to the truck.
well, I'll tell that story.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was the genesis of it.
Were you?
I was the observation.
Yeah.
So, Rookie, I clearly realized that Rookie knew who fed him, who took care of him, because when we come back to the truck, one of the guides will make sure he keeps count, right? So let's just say we're at 17, right? I saw Rookie go into the truck, take one out of the bucket, come down the steps, go around to the truck, hand it to Dennis, and Dennis goes, 18. I'm like, either he didn't know what Rookie knew. Casey didn't know, Dennis didn't know, but Rookie knew. So that's a smart.
I think that's a teachable
He's-
skill.
Yeah, he's actually trained to do that for the ones who let too many birds go away. So, like, if he hears no bird, that means go to the truck and get one out of the bucket.
He stepped in and out.
Yeah.
Well, okay, look at the meter just went up on the bullshit side of this thing instead of the volume side of it. But so literally you go right back to being mom and do you work at the school?
I do this year, just the temporary 1-year deal.
And then
Check with me next year.
how long does it take you guys like to get ready? This opens up what on the opener it opens up on the South Dakota opener?
Correct. So this year, we moved out of our house to make that an extra space for hunters to stay. And we moved out the 1st of October, right around in there. And then it takes about, I don't know, probably 4 weeks of deep cleaning and prepping and going shopping at Costco and doing all the prep work that goes into it before we are ready for guests to arrive.
About 4 weeks worth of work. And you move your family.
And
Let me just interject here.
Okay.
You forgot about the whole previous 6 months of what happened from spring to fall would actually provide.
of course the gardener would bring that up.
That's why you never see me, because I'm always busy doing other things.
So that's why when I think I'm in a field I recognize, that's why I don't recognize it, because last year it was in hay and this year it's in sorghum and next year it's in corn. And
Yeah.
how do you plan that out?
It's a well-oiled machine, buddy, let me tell you.
But I mean, I know you're a well-oiled machine, but so you originally, you guys are at this 8 years,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Like you wouldn't have known what to do on year one
Not a commercial
side of things.
5 scale. Sure, we scale. Yeah, we've been hunting our whole life, so we get, there's definitely enough habitat for small parties to,
Right.
but the scale to where we, take the people and provide the scale hunt that we have, it takes quite a little planning. I mean, there's rotation. So I have a 3-crop rotation typically, corn, sorghum, soybeans. And then that's unlike some other lodges to where they just put the minimum into it. They plant the seed and maybe they spray it, maybe they don't.
Yeah.
Maybe get more foxtail than sorghum. I don't know.
Right.
I take another approach where I try to grow a really nice, healthy looking crop that provides really good cover.
Yeah.
But yet is sustainable for us to hunt it and then be able to harvest it. And
How much you think I mean, if you had a guess from us walking and busting corn stalks, do you lose like 10% of the field over?
I don't know that we lose hardly any from you guys walking through the field. It's just from time in the field, right? The crops mature. Say in open air or whatever, we hunt for 8 weeks. They may be 2 months past mature, so they get dry and fall.
Oh, that's what it looked.
Yeah.
So you would have normally taken this stuff if you were doing just for cash.
Yeah, this stuff would all be harvested.
It'd be all gone.
Yeah, yep.
I never even thought of it.
The corn probably holds on the longest. It's the sorghum that once you get a big wind or snow and it tips over and then your combine can't pick it up,
Yeah.
That's where you lose the most grain.
But the age of the seed has something to do with it too. Can it be too old?
But the maturity, yeah. There's longer days, shorter day maturities. You bet.
Damn. So do you draw this up on a whiteboard, or do you just have it in your head?
Just in my
That's not a good place. That's what my wife says. Don't tell me you have this all in your head.
So I have a note on my phone from when we planted the home place here. And it was like, okay, we did X amount rows of beans and then there's a food plot. And then X amount rows of beans and then there's a food plot. And you do that for spraying purposes, right? When you've got to put your pre's down, you can't have a corn pre down where you're going to put, I'm going to say this wrong, a different type of crop. Otherwise, you're affecting what's going to grow and what's not going to grow. So there are a few moments in there where I want to pull my hair out because I'm like, Corey, we already talked about what's going there. Stop asking me and just plant it.
Corey's like, you're forgetting that chemical doesn't work with that chemical.
Yeah.
And if I have to tell you one more time, you're going to have 2 black eyes. I will say I've never seen her with a black eye, just for the record.
For theatrical purposes.
Well, I don't think people think about that, because we're teasing you about not doing anything.
right.
Like, you actually do probably hours-wise all year, probably the most.
Yeah. Right.
Behind the seat. And
Yep.
who helps you? I mean, can you do this by yourself, literally, what we're seeing?
No. Not possible.
No.
No. So Casey helps me a bunch just with logistic stuff, and kids are finally starting to get old enough to earn their keep, so they get help me run the grade cart and help me move from field to field and do some of the haying and mow.
The kids are helping already? How young were you when you started helping?
Well, his mom's in the back over there. We could find it
How
out.
old was it? What are you supposed? Yeah, 6, 7, 8 years old.
You ran made her for us and making
What's that?
That is a picture of Graham driving the grain cart through Main Street down to White Lake. He's in 3rd grade.
Beautiful.
Oh, jeez, it's 3rd grade.
Well, I started driving junior in high school.
They grew up in it and they've been riding in the tractors forever. You know, it's not like a kid that's never grown before, you know, they just, what they do.
Yeah, it just seems like, that doesn't even seem like, it seems like we're on the moon when you start talking like that.
Yeah. Well, that's just, the tractors are a little more sophisticated now than they were back then.
Yeah, but
Maybe when you were a young,
Well, when they were horse-drawn.
yeah, but right. Well, then you had another tall. You had no horses. No, that's just like, I remember moving to Michigan from Chicago, and we're out in the middle of what I would call the wilderness from Chicago, right? Mm-hmm. In all trees. We got 3 daughters, and the first thing my wife has me do is build a fence around the backyard. What? Is your kids? Do you even know where your kids are right now? Right now? No. You know they're safe though.
I hope so.
That's such a different world. You know, it really is such a different world. John, you're older than me, aren't you? Oh, go ahead. Think about it, John.
Yeah, I did.
Were you raised up that like as free as a South Dakota farm boy or farm girl in 2024? Were you driving equipment when you were in 3rd grade?
We were driving tractors when we were for elementary school. Yeah.
Were you?
Take time. And then when I was in junior high school, I was too old to drive the tractor because the kids that were driving the tractor were too small to lift crates of onions and potatoes.
So the bigger you got, the harder the work got.
Yeah. And then I was doing all the lifting.
Mike, have you ever done anything like this in your life?
Yeah.
What did I grow up in the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, I grew up on Long Island and was driving a tractor in like 3rd grade.
How about you, Bill?
I drove grain truck for the Sheffels farm up in Montana when I was 13.
13. So you're a late bloomer.
Couldn't get my driver's license because we had to cross county roads till I was 13.
How about you, Troy?
I got my first farm job in 6th grade.
What happened?
My grandpa used to haul 25-pound blocks of ice. So I'm right there with these guys.
This is embarrassing. I'm sorry, think of the title of this episode. The City Kids Are Boys. Three kids are weird.
Well, when Corey and Casey came to town, though, I showed them where you got your first pheasant along the railroad track.
You did. Can you believe that right there at that cemetery?
It was kind of weird when he was driving us to the cemetery. He's like, yeah, we're going to hang it right up here. And there's some lady out here who has dinner with her husband every Sunday. Yep, there she is. And she waves at Ruth.
She has dinner with her mom. Visiting her mom.
At the graveyard.
Right.
Yeah.
So it makes me wonder how much time Ruth spends at the cemetery to know that.
When he's in town.
Then I took you by where they throw the flowers.
Wait, for frame of reference,
Yeah.
Casey and Corey came into Michigan with some other clients that were here. They've been inviting you guys for years to come and go fishing, although the weather wasn't fishing weather, but it was drinking weather.
Well, it's a big lake.
It was a big boat.
And then Ruth, he got a hold of you guys and said, hey, if you've got time, I'll give you a little tour of Chicago. So
We got a 4-hour tour.
In the Maverick.
In the Maverick, that's right. Not in the shotgun Maverick of Ron Sponsel Mossberg, no, but the Ford.
that's why we got 2 words in.
Right.
So he picks us up and we hop in and he's got a cooler in the back seat. He's like, what do you need? A Diet Coke, a bottle of water, a beer, Tums, aspirin?
Right. Head
Yeah,
out.
well,
Yeah, you're something.
I think
He likes to
I think Corey hit the Sprite Zero, I think, and the Tylenol. Yeah, right.
How'd you fare after that little?
It was a long 2 days.
Well, they had fun on the boat, and they ate some food at Baracco's Pizza there on the south side in Chicago.
Man, was it.
Isn't that from the Baracco family pizza family chain? Yeah, I know that place.
But just to real get back, when we cut through the cemetery, because it was a cut through to our old neighborhood, it took them by where after the funerals where they throw the flowers. You used to pick up flowers for your ex-wife.
Yeah. So I think she was cute, but she wasn't smart. In case you're listening, Deb.
She's not.
She's not. Yeah, that's not the first pheasant I got. We used to catch pheasants with a long string #1 trap and glue with Elmer's blue corn to the plate.
Okay.
Because this thing was a true Illinois prairie, all the undeveloped part of that cemetery, and that's where we just hung out and played and trapped. And then I played with a little taxidermy, and right on 87th Street's where big, I don't know, it must have been the oldest rooster that was ever in Chicago. And it was probably the last rooster that was in the city limits of Chicago. My neighbor saw it. I went and picked it up on my bike and did a taxidermy on that one. So yeah, we're kind of like connected in that way. Like you've got the
You saw your old house, everything.
We saw everything.
Yeah.
it's the old house, the old neighborhood.
high school.
And you were raised right here in White Lake.
Yeah. Yep.
Right, but you were in Nebraska, Casey.
Correct.
So we need a tour of your. Was it just like this in another state, basically?
But a lot more conservative.
Really?
You don't say.
Oh.
Anyway, where are we going with that? Let's talk a little bit about dogs.
Well, yeah, what we know about Casey's dog, but it's real quick. Tate, one of your guides, he runs what?
Beachless.
Beachless.
Yep.
We hunted with Tate in the past.
Oh yeah, he was on last year. He has Red Point. Is it Red Point kennels? What?
Martinson Red.
Martinson's Red Point kennels. He's got and I told people this so many times when we first got here. You're not expected to bring a dog. You guys let us bring dogs if you want to. We'll have some of those stories in a few minutes. And I've been guilty of it. But when I saw you guys were running a lot of Vigilas, I was like, where do we show up? Nobody runs a pointing dog on a block and a drive and a flank type.
I'm never going to forget the first thing you said about that. And you were like, only women breed Beachless.
But at that point, I think I was accurate.
But at this point, I think you understand why we run the Beachless.
It's amazing. It amazes me. It really. I mean, and I'll be as serious for as long as it takes. I've judged thousands of dogs in this country, and Vigilas are part of them. And there's no pointing dog that I would have ever even thought of using in a crop field, like let alone go hunt with it and see what happens, but to keep
birds retrieved and birds tracked and still pointed. They don't really ever go to flushing mode. I mean, unless they probably see one. But who had the first Vizsla here?
We did. Yeah.
Where did you get it from?
We ended up getting our first one from somewhere up north in South Dakota.
Why did you pick it?
Because we wanted a family hunting dog, and they are great.
So this is post or pre?
This was pre-Tate, before we even knew Tate.
In Green Hunting Lodge.
No, it was the same year we bought this, right?
Yep, we came into the business with one lab, who she came out with us today. I told you she was geriatric.
Yeah.
We had just her, and we knew if we were going to do this, we needed to have dog power. So what kind of dogs do we want? We could be like every other lodge in South Dakota and run all labs, and that's all you see, but that's not always what hunters want. A lot of times hunters want to see the dogs work, so let's bring something unique to the table that's different from what other people have. So that's kind of why we went down the path of finding a Vizsla. Once we had one, we knew that we needed another one, and that's actually our connection of how we got started with being in business with Tate, is he had a started dog for sale back in 2017, 18, and I had went over to look at it, and he had just found out that the lodge he was working at was going out of business. So he was telling me,
So Tate had done this kind of work for
he has. Yep. And he was just kind of telling me, if you have any need for another guide next year, we should have a conversation. And I ended up buying the dog from him, which was Gabby, who hunted with us today. It's a pleasure to hunt with. Gabby probably retrieved 90% of our birds.
Yeah. She's carrying the weight on her shoulder, the weight of the world. Well, it's still it's just a weird choice to me. Like, when I was talking with Bill McFadden, I was like, why wouldn't they have springers? They're basically naturally close ranging, hell of a good retriever, hell of a good corn busting dog.
I'm not going to deal with a long-coated.
Well, that's okay. I didn't think of that answer.
Well, we got to tell you, though, where else do you hunt 10-foot corn and 200 bushel Milo? Like, there's a lot of unique things that go on here that you probably don't see at other places.
Yeah. I wasn't thinking of the coat of the dog, but still, it'd be like if I had the whole list of nabbed registered dogs, it would be way down at the bottom, because they can, you know them to run so big and cover big country and field trial with them, right? I mean, they could sustain 400 yards out there and still pay. And you're working in this.
But what's interesting about our dogs is when we're working in food plots like we are, they stay close. If we go out in the open country, they'll still range 400 to 500 yards.
When we all leave, they'll go back to.
Yeah, they'll hunt both for us.
Really?
Yep.
Well, Bill. Yeah, you have a Vizsla. Kind of. What do you have?
So I met this breeder up in Michigan who turns out to be kind of a jackass. He doesn't really know what he's doing. And so I've got a cross between a wire-haired Vizsla and a Bracco Italiano.
Oof! How'd that turn out?
For really good everywhere but here.
We got a friend called the name Scott Carlson. He's got a new wire hair, and he calls it "No Damn It" because that's all he does. No damn it. And this week, Phil's dog would see a bird go out of the field, and Bill is yelling out to command, a very common command for trained dogs: "No bird, no bird." And the dog would, hook around and say, "Yep, you're right, no bird." You named chasing. No bird. No bird.
I named it. Didn't mean to, but I did.
So the running joke is, if you say no bird to Katie, she's going to look for the nearest food plot and beeline it.
I caught myself at least 5 times today getting ready to say, Katie, no! And he's like, come back!
Well, I'll tell you this, the fun part of this too. Like, I've been to, I don't know, half a dozen lodges, and then just a lot of one-day preserves over my year, taking customers to places, taking my daughters to places. Not that you don't have rules here, but if the clients have their own dogs, it's kind of like, okay, but if we lose a lot of birds because they're dogs, if you guys are all okay, you're fine with that.
To an extent.
Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let's not fight with that because she made up 3 new rules that we heard about yesterday. Rule number 1, no dogs on the bed. Rule number 2, no dogs on the furniture. Rule number 3, they got to have an e-collar. I never heard those rules.
I didn't just make up those rules, but
I did. Never heard them.
But do you think there was a reason for every dog needs an e-collar after the last few days?
Well, yeah.
Well, but here's the other thing too. You haven't even probably taken the time to condition her to an e-collar.
No, I said they actually started with an air.
Because our friends at Garmin sent you a nice discount code.
I got a great new 550 plus, and I started her with the air tag, just the sound.
Yeah.
Working her with that, and I brought it to North Dakota with me with the idea that I was going to talk to you and Trent and try and start collar conditioning.
Instead, you kept looking for sharp tails.
Instead, yeah,
And them evenings got away from you a little bit.
So I told Casey, collar conditioning starts next week.
Yep. Other than that, she'll she had a couple birds. She pointed a few birds. She pointed a few birds.
Three. Yeah, she did all right when
She was with us.
when she was close.
She was close. Mike, now I know you're not really a loud speaker, and I am. What kind of dog did you bring with us? I know, but the listeners don't know.
Small Munster Lander.
Right? What was your reason for that dog?
I like the way they look. They're the right size.
That was it. Did you know anybody with one before you had one?
No,
No.
I just jumped right in.
You just jumped in with both feet like like all of us do?
Yeah.
When we want something?
Yeah.
How old is Blitz?
Getting now. 3.5.
3.5. And your buddies with my buddies down at Tar Heels chapter in NAMDA.
Yeah, Scott and Kylie.
Yeah. And Troy, besides bringing your dad with this, because that's the only way you can drive 18 hours. It's the only way you're allowed to drive 18 hours. You have a new dog and last year's dog.
Yeah, so I have a German short hair. She's 6, and I like her a lot better at 6 than I did at 5 or 4 or 3. I think I'm going to like her even more at 7 when she's slowed down some. And she's a Western. Her first 4 years of life, she was hunting in the West, big country in the West. And
Right.
when we go chucker hunting, 400 or 500 yards is still well within acceptable range.
Yeah.
Get to the food plots here, it's a little different. The first year, I think Casey would have made up another rule because she was wearing an e-collar because she would clear a food plot in a minute. Now she's learning how to play this game here. Yeah. I don't worry about.
Yeah, she was a different, other than you weren't much different of a handler, but she was a much different dog.
Yeah, just age, calming down some.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then
It's
the
probably because she's been here. Dogs remember where they go and where they hunt. It becomes like a milk route to them. And she's like, oh, well, this is just where we do this. This should be a video, not an audio presentation.
And then the puppy is a English Cocker, actually a full sister to Ron's English Cocker, just a year and a half younger.
Yeah.
And,
How old is she now?
she's just quite 18 months.
Okay, next litter down.
Yeah, next litter.
Yeah.
Have
Have you had her on birds back in Idaho?
a little bit, not a lot. So,
Not like a training situation or anything?
so she has some learning to do as well. Range is going to be a thing with her as well, keeping her closer. But they're fun.
That's it?
That's it. They're fun. They're all of them are.
Yeah.
And there's now.
I noticed that. Little black one. Thought you docked the tail on a skinny lab when I saw it.
well, the German Shorthair can handle the cold a lot better than a Vizsla can. They're just a little bit more sturdy
Yeah.
of a dog.
Yeah, I think it's a safe statement. You won't get any bad fan mail from. So, but yeah, because we've been lucky in the last couple of years. We had a cold day last year, but this week was, not a challenge temperature-wise for a dog. In fact, it almost got too hot a little bit toward the end of it.
It's been too hot all season.
Has it?
This was our
This was your coldest week? Mm-hmm. Whew, I'm glad. I'm glad we waited. What other dogs have you tried here? Or is it just Labs and Vizslas in this short hair?
That's all we've tried. We've tried a few different Vizslas, some that hunt very well for just an individual hunter, but don't do so well with a group. Some that maybe just are a better family dog than they are a hunter to begin with. So just because we say, hey, go get a Vizsla doesn't mean that it's going to hunt. You have to have the right Vizsla.
Right.
We've had Labs the same way, though. We've had Labs that want to stay right at your ankles and they don't want to go out and flush anything. And all they want to do is mark and retrieve birds. And that doesn't really work so well either.
Yeah, you need an aggressive Lab. Like,
For sure.
grab the Lab that wants to bowl down,
For sure.
push it out, and make it happen.
Yep.
So you want a Lab that runs like a Springer.
Pretty much.
Right.
We're pretty flexible about, if a dog doesn't work for us, we'll find it a home that's going to continue to do what's best for that dog and not try and make it something that it's not meant to be.
Well, that's good. So we'll leave the Christy Gnome jokes out of it.
Smart. Curious, no, what was it, Crockett or Cricket or whatever.
There's no cricket yard. There's still, do you have a gravel pit on the property?
This is how things are growing.
When you say you need some more dogs, what would, like, if you could just paint a picture and stroke of a pen, what would you have? Like, how many dogs?
Yeah, 5 solid dogs is about what it takes to rotate through adequate.
That's for you, though.
Correct.
Right.
I like to run 3 in the field max.
Yeah.
So this was a little unique, having maybe 7 in the field.
Yeah.
At times.
Yeah. That's our dogs included.
Yeah. Yeah. But usually, 3 in the field max, and then being able to rotate them through so that they can stay healthy all season.
Yeah.
Of my 5, I've got a geriatric in there right now, and she really doesn't count. And I have another one who doesn't hunt with other dogs, so I can't bring her out.
So you are in sore need of some dogs.
So it would be nice to have another one. I have 2 of the 3 dogs that I've been running came up hurt today. So
will stress level going up?
it'll be okay because the next group has no dogs.
They have no dogs.
No dogs.
So you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah. So my dogs who don't hunt with your dogs can come out again.
Right. Gotcha. Yeah, you have that one female that's a little owly, as we say.
Yep.
So untypical for a Lab, too. I mean, really, it is.
Yeah.
It's America's #1 family dog,
Well, it could be because she thought V was a cat.
Oh, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole.
Too soon on V.
Too soon on V. Too soon. The eye cleared up, though. Don't worry.
Would I?
Wouldn't I? I'm trying to think. You guys have any questions? Like, because it's really weird trying to, I don't think we really ever talked about everything that goes into what this place is and all the other places in this state. And then North Dakota and Nebraska, there's lodges everywhere, but South Dakota is the hub of lodges. There's probably 5 or 6 close by. I wouldn't guess.
Absolutely.
I only go by one when I'm road at midnight, so I know there's one that way. But there's. Is it a competitive thing? Is there just plenty of people to go around for?
I would call it a little bit of both. For the most part, there's plenty of people that go around, but I'd say 90% of our clientele is return customers. And they're loyal. They come here, they know what they're going to get. They like what they're going to get. They have no reason to shop around.
So it's not like you got to look for new customers every year, obviously.
Correct. Yeah. And it's also one of those things that you just respect the fact if somebody else says, oh, I hunt in South Dakota and I go to so-and-so's lodge, you just respect that. Yeah. Because, they've probably been going there 20 years.
Instead of saying, oh, you should check our place out. You just know they're probably happy as your clients are happy.
Correct.
Corey, you were talking, or Cody. Let me reset that.
Me and another.
Corey. I think we kind of got not cut off, but you said you've been doing this since you were a kid, and then we got into farming, but to lay out the logistics in your field, and okay, we're gonna need this much space around the edges. We want to keep what birds will stay in this area. Did you get some assistance from somebody, or did you just? Could you go to the local tavern and talk to it? It was like, hey, we're thinking about kind of doing what you're doing. How do you come up with this?
I've been traveling, so I travel a lot for work too. So
you run into people like yourself, or just farmers only?
Mostly farmers, but I do run to a few other people, that do the same thing we do for traveling. And but we've been doing it long enough. You can tell by just what works by just experience,
Right.
you can just tell by looking at something like, hey, that's going to be good. Or when we purchased the last couple of pieces of ground, we just kind of was kind of a vision for what it needs to look like.
Right.
And then I have all of our own equipment, so that I just go make it what I envision in my head.
Yeah, you don't have to translate your thought
To somebody else.
to another farmer.
Yeah.
So that saves time.
Yeah, and Casey just keeps it right. Why do you need so much equipment? And I keep telling her, like, there's no way I can explain what I want to happen to somebody else and for them to do it the way I want it done. Nonetheless, they want it done too, right? Because it would be terribly confused. Right?
Yeah.
And terribly time.
And you almost couldn't even just say like a regular farm bill. If you tried to tell them what you want, you'd be like, well, what's the matter with you, son?
Right.
We're going to go all the way to the edge with this. Yeah, right. We're not going to leave grass. We're going to,
So Casey sometimes says, well, why didn't you do this or why didn't you do that? And I got to remind her, well, my sprayer's 90 feet, the planter's 60 feet.
everything's got math to it.
There's half to it, right?
Right.
Make it work. If we're doing stuff in the fields, but if we're doing some stuff with grass and cedars and we just try to make the habitat best we can, or if there's an opportunity to dig a dugout, if you will, and put some water into place just to make it more friendly for all types of habitat.
Yeah.
Deer, grouse, pheasant, the whole works. That's all we're after, right?
Yeah.
And
Sustainable habit.
I think you can notice here on the home place that we've really farmed for the pheasants. We've thrown more grass back in, which
Yeah, I noticed a bunch of grass back there this year.
given a lot of nesting. Where we're seeing, when we hunted here, we called, I don't know how many hens, but the truth of it is they're probably immature roosters.
No.
Some of them are.
Oh, some of them that we couldn't see closely, but I was close enough to enough hens
Why? How do you know that?
because I did not pull the trigger on that hen. All right, first day, no. I was accused of pulling the trigger on a hen who was not harmed in making this podcast, and I did not. It was the guy next to me that shot at it and thank God missed it. But all day long, right, everyone's like, Ron, hen. No, I saw more hens this year, but you said it was a better year. Like, in fact, a couple walks we did, it was hen. Like, it's a freaking roosters. That's not always the case, but
For sure.
then you got state land behind your WMA behind you, so that's this quarter and this quarter. What's beyond the windmills up there? Is that all?
That's all private.
That's all private. The windmills too. All that's all just all on Upland Farm.
That's all just private. Yep.
So they're not. Is that just a little low where you are to get a windmill?
Yeah, it's just
Low. No, I mean the topography. Would they come to you and ask if they could? Because the windmills seem to be.
they're up at that hill.
That's what I'm saying. And you're on the flat.
Yeah, I'm down the bottom.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I got to go back to the habitat thing because it's really obvious that you guys cultivate for habitat, and it's really nice, especially for us as coming in here as hunters. What gave you that idea?
I think the biggest thing is just making it more sustainable. Giving the pheasants and all the wildlife somewhere where, they kind of have that sanctuary until fall comes. There's not a whole lot that goes on back there outside of the fall. I'm really careful about when I run my dogs and where I'm running my dogs because I don't want to bump hens off nests or anything like that. And it's really just more or less a sanctuary for them.
So it was all about sustainable farming before it was about hunting lodge.
Well,
Same time.
but to be fair, all the grass that you're seeing does get planted. Those areas get put to grass because they're not so good for farming, right? There's my deals.
But that's not a golden CRP.
No.
That's a decision you made. It was like you could spend less money, leave it with grass, which is good for everything else.
Right.
Because you're not going to make squat on it with diesel fuel.
I lose money every year farming that acre because it just doesn't produce to cover the input. So put it back to grass, let it go.
Yeah. Put the whole thing back to grass. The whole thing. All right, let's do some.
Well, one thing about the lodge, though, what's really cool is we know Corey's mom, we know all your kids, we know your staff. You know what I mean? So there's a very family type bond when we're here.
Well, like we have all the same employees we've had since since we
Except that one guy, the Bill.
That looked like Ernest Borgnine and Vince Lombardi.
Rolled up into what?
But Troy and I were talking about that, and the nice thing about coming here is, to your point, it's like we're coming to hunt on the family farm.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
It kind of does it.
And we had Thanksgiving dinner tonight, so.
That's right.
In November. Yeah, you're right. I did say it. I did touch it.
Are you sure?
Do I look like?
Yeah.
I ended on a big note.
I'm getting svelte.
I went. Is that what an M?
Svelte.
Oh.
You smelt.
Nancy had a chance to save chips or cheesecake, and she saved the cheesecake today. So I was there.
Rusty says,
Your mother and I were there. We witnessed the whole thing.
Oh, yeah?
All right, sorry. I just wanted to go back.
No, I was just going to do like a little like worst best moments, but I want to ask you guys, and I know Casey's in the field at like, you're almost in the field every day.
Yep.
I mean, basically, unless there's a change. Worst, obviously without names. Worst group of hunters you ever had. I don't mean like breaking laws, but I mean couldn't hit a barn if they were standing on the inside of it, or didn't know one end of a gun from the other, or didn't know one species of bird from another. What's the you got to stick out in your head.
It could be 3 different groups.
And not everyone were though, because you get to now you got such repeat customers. Really,
For sure. We've had, back to your question, we have one group that sticks out in my head, and they were from Florida. They have a nickname with us, and they're the ones that caused us to have the hen rule. And they've been here one time, and there's a reason they were only here one time.
You wouldn't even have them back.
I wouldn't have them back. They would come in, and I think the first day they shot 11 hens, and they just did not care. And that's
That's not okay.
completely against the rules, right?
right?
But I don't think they really done, like, I don't.
Do you think it was an still like an identification problem? Or you think they were just like, if it flies, it dies?
If it flies, it dies. They were ready to kill anything and everything. So then that's when we started the hen rule. You know, if you happen to shoot a hen, there's a pink hat you get to wear and a fine that goes with it. And Dennis added to that rule tonight, and he said you have to drink a case of Bud Light.
Ooh, that's going to make people think twice from before.
I bet you need to make sure.
But that sticks out like,
For sure.
Oh God, nightmare trip.
For sure. And if you're going to have people like that, then you don't want them back. They're not welcome.
Right. What if they had called you back? You just said we're booked.
We're both full. Actually, I would have no problem telling them.
So that wasn't so much that they were shitty shots. They were
too good of shots.
So how about if you get a group of hunters where you got to kind of have the safety break, like again, say, listen, when I talk about flanking, I mean this. When I talk about blocking, I mean.
We've had that many times.
Yeah, that's just people just don't understand.
Right. And 9 times out of 10, their buddy's going to handle it before I have to say something.
Right.
Yeah, at least one person's listening. But yeah, if somebody goes to, which South Dakota is the destination where people go to for the first, they get invited. Come on, we got this group. Come on, look,
I was blocking at the edge.
Your safety speech, it would be like in one ear and out the other, because all they're thinking, I wonder what's going to be like in the polar perch. They're not listening to you.
I was blocking at the end, and eight guns came out of the field with a bird. And if this was a hit where I was supposed to get whacked in South Dakota, that would have been it. Y'all could have said, yeah, he was blocking, he got shot. But I personally thanked all of the shooters, not because it was a low bird. Came out low. It was a low bird.
Anyway,
but if we got it in the head, would have passed.
How about anything on the rowdiness side of things, or is it just more in the field?
Gosh, I think I've gone through more Coors Light this week than I have all season. Troy?
Oh. No. I'm telling you what, Troy has not damaged your stock of that. Now, there will be...
The Jameson is...
The Jameson. I didn't know they were going to quit making it. I didn't know that.
Let's make sure to clarify here. That's not just Troy.
Right. That's Troy and Bill. Well, your brother was here, and Jim. And I should say that, too, as this is a mini infomercial, when you come here, besides the meals, alcohol is provided, and not just beer, wine, and whatever that brown water is.
Shells.
Shelf, what do you call that? Shelf liquor?
No, shells.
Shelf. Oh, shelf. That's right, yeah.
I think it's Irish whiskey.
And I'll give you when I usually shoot my 16 gauge, and Casey goes, I told Casey I'll bring an autoloader because sometimes an extra shell helps. Yeah. And so I brought my Mossberg 948, and I grabbed the shells. I grabbed the shells on your bus, and they were number 4 shot. I'm like, we hunting geese? But I remember what you said. People bring their own shells out here, and they were bringing 7.5 shot and quail shot, and you're just crippling birds. I smacked. I mean, everybody cripples a few birds, but that 4 shot has some merit to it.
That it reached out. I saw it.
And the only reason I had to shoot that bird, Troy.
What bird?
The one
that almost got you a pink hat?
No, the one looks like it.
No, remember when we were by the state land and that bird got up in the wind so hard it was like a sail and it was like a kite. It just stood there.
And I panicked. I mean, I panicked, though. I'll admit it.
It was like goose hunting.
Yeah, it sat there for what felt like 30 seconds, and then the wind caught it, and it was gone.
And then the number 4 hit it, like from, I don't know. How wide is the strip? 80? How wide is the strip?
They're 120 feet.
So how many yards is that?
40 yards.
40 yards. That bird, I probably hit that bird at 60 yards with that 4 shot. So congrats on the 4 shot case. How was you shooting this year, Troy?
It was.
I mean,
it could use work at all times.
Would you say it was average? Like
Average.
Yeah. You're happy enough when you hit them, and then when you missed them, like, yeah, I'll get the next.
No, I get mad when I miss them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, what was your shooting like this year?
I would say it was average. I missed a lot, and then I hit a lot, and then I missed a lot.
So it didn't feel any different?
Well, it always feels different when you miss a bird when you're with Casey, because she's going to ride your ass for a little bit.
I was really nice this year.
Yes, you were.
You were nice. She'd say, kill it. This year she would say, come on, guys.
Or worse, come on, ladies.
No. It always starts out, rooster.
Wait, what, Mike?
She didn't tell us to quit wasting her ammo one time.
Yeah. See, so we must have been doing better this year.
It was a good year. I think it's probably our best hunt we've had.
With, as far as birds down and bird saw?
I would just say all around.
We had a rocky start, and then we recovered.
What was rough? Oh, just the first morning. I missed that because I had family duties.
But I think it was a good group that we had. It was very safe. We had very little dog trouble.
Yeah.
We got our birds.
Yeah.
Just overall.
Yeah.
That was the guide. Let's
Guide was wonderful.
The guide? Our guide?
Yeah, your guide.
Your wife? You want me to?
You want to go there?
You want to go there? You want to go there?
Just stare at the just a little.
We got a better chance of me calling my wife and getting somebody in a good mood. She doesn't.
So, no, Casey uses her authority like a teacher when appropriate.
You know, I'll be honest with you, I don't think she uses it enough. Seriously.
Well,
because a lot of times.
oh, you're stepping all over. Well, what is it named after you, Ron's podcast?
So I make your point.
Oh, that's all right.
Point. Go ahead.
No, it's always like rooster. But if we're missing a couple birds and we're coming to the end of the field and it's like, kill it, but it goes up.
Well, you hate to see that many birds fly.
Well, that's the whole thing.
I'm amazed, not at the ones that I miss and don't see, but I'm always amazed at the other guys' birds that they don't see. How did you guys, like the whole line is standing there.
Nobody shoots.
Nobody shoots. Like, how did nobody see that? But I'm not standing there with the rest of the people. It's easy when you're flanking. You get to see things better. But, Mike, how was your shooting? You were like a little panicky this year about being a flanker.
Yeah. A couple days it was average. A couple days it was above average.
Ooh, odd shot.
Oh, hey, I did pretty good for.
Were you shooting some boss ammo, or were you shooting some?
It was a mix.
A mix.
I shot boss a few.
Those guys gave you a boss today, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Michigan crew brought a bunch of boss ammo in.
And then I was testing out some other ammo just to see how it worked.
Yeah. Pretty happy with your shooting and your dog?
Yeah. Was really happy with the dog. Not so much in the Milo fields, but we don't normally hunt that.
No, not many people have food plots and Milo fields to hunt. Yeah.
And he definitely doesn't hunt in large groups with that many other dogs.
What was his problem, you think? Or was it a problem?
I wouldn't say a problem so much as he just didn't really know what to do. He ended up behind us a couple times, but...
You think it was just to stay away from the other dogs, or you think it was because these pheasants run...
He found in fur.
Muncies are famous for tracking.
Yeah.
And how many birds do we get to end the fields, and then we don't find them? But the blockers are saying, guys, get ready. Mm-mm. There could be 2 rows of Milo, and that bird will go right backwards. I think that's what that Musty was doing.
Yeah, because remember, we were talking about it in the field. He was 80 yards behind us, on point.
Yeah.
Going off point, back on point, off point.
You should have said, Casey, permission to move to the back of the squad, ma'am. She would have said, private, released.
Private, hold the line. Private, go. And Bill back will turn around, I'll go back.
You know what else I liked was one thing I liked. Everybody who hunts pheasants knows they're the toughest bird to kill. You hit them right, obviously you kill them. It's amazing how tough they are. I saw one hit the deck hard, takes it about 3 seconds to get its wind, up and run it. So there's cripple factor is probably with pheasants worse than maybe ducks, but I mean, that's a whole different ballgame. And we went back a lot of times over the 4 days to go right back in the same field, which I'll bet you, and I'm just guessing, but I've been to these places. I'll bet you a lot of places will just say, that's all right, we'll just keep going. And we didn't go to another row. We turned around, we get in the trucks, we go back, we brought more dogs out. And sure enough, we found the birds in most cases. Yeah.
But I do the one right at your feet.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, well, that bird was hit hard.
He did not want that in his mouth any longer than he had to have it.
But that was I like that. I mean, because you could just say, all right, well, they got away. And sometimes they do get away. It's amazing how they get away. But
the one we shot today that dropped out on the grass side, smacked the ground hard.
Yeah.
3 seconds later, got up, took off running.
Right. Is that the one Zebra chased?
Yeah, and then Blitz linebackered it.
While you're trying to get Blitz's
attention to show.
Blitz wants to go this way. He's like, Blitz. Come on. Finally, Blitz sees Zebra. I think all he thought was Zebra was doing a figure 8 dance.
I thought like, Zebra had sorry, lady, going there at first. Well, she wanted to roll on it. She was trying.
Zeba's just lucky she got on the right bus today.
Yeah. All right, let's pick, because Jim said he's going to listen to this podcast. And I told him, I said, last year, I think it was last year, Jim had a pump gun. I think he said it was his Model 12.
Yeah.
And it was jamming, or it was full of weeds, or one time his glove was stuck in it. And he's blocking, and he's out of corners. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. And you can see it bent over, and I'm like, there's birds coming. And I'm like, you got to get this done. This year, he's standing out there like a post on Guantanamo. And a bird comes by, shaboom! Shaboom! And he shot excellent.
He shot excellent.
Well, he shoots well anyway.
You guys grew up
Yeah,
shooting birds, but
bird gun.
And a bit of a gunsmith. You're both a bit of a gunsmithy.
Yeah, our dad had a gun shop. He was a licensed master gunsmith, so we did a lot of.
But that wasn't his career. But that was like his.
That was his side job until he retired from the Air Force.
Yeah. So you guys are familiar with guns, but I thought, well, why did he bring a gun that didn't work? And this year he brought his 870, tried and true gun.
This year he brought 3 guns.
Well, yeah, but he shot me 7. And he shot. Well, every time I'm sure he missed some birds, but the last 2 days, I didn't see him miss.
Jimmy McSwat, that's his new nickname.
Well, I love the one where he was flanking, and the bird just whizzed by everyone out there, and he just calmly turned. And that was a 40, 50-yard shot.
And then it just, boom. That bird is 60 yards when he hit it in the ass. What else? John.
So what happened with the dog? I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Well, you didn't finish the story.
Which one now? I heard.
On the bus.
Well, okay, so we're getting ready to. Thanks for keeping us. Well, see,
Welcome to my world.
So we get ready in the morning, and most people, will get on one of the buses supplied. It's got gun racks and lunches and everything, and you drive out to the fields. And Bill's brother Jim is particularly attached to his dog. I would almost call it, we'll put it this way. I was in the shower today. He talks a lot to his dog. He's on the other side of the wall from me, so I can hear him talking to his dog a lot.
Would you like, who's your daddy? Who's your dad? Or no, well, I don't know where you're going.
It's more like, hey, Zeba, what are we going to do today? Are we going to eat? Are we going to do this? You want to go down? He's like asking it, like Matt does with his, asking questions and waiting for Zeba to answer. He loves that dog probably more than I've ever loved any of my own dogs. I can say that. And we're all getting ready to go. And he's like, anybody seen Zeba? Anybody seen Zeba? Zeba does not leave his side. Did you ever see it leave?
No.
No. The dog does not leave his side. All he would need is a cane with a white tip, and he could get on a plane with that thing.
Respectfully.
The dog adores him. He adores the dog. And he goes, "Did you see Zeba?" I said, "No, I haven't." He asked him. Casey's asking everybody. And he walks slower than I do. And he's boot scooting around all the property, looking in the lodge, looking in the casino, looking upstairs, looking in the kitchen. I can't find Zeba. I can't say. And there's 2 buses of the same color. And Zeba just got on with the wrong bus.
Well, he said get on the bus, and she got on a bus.
No, I think in the morning he said, all right, Zeba, we're going to get on the bus.
Going to get on the big yellow bus where the wheels go round and round. Then the wipers go, wooch, 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 wooch.
So, today I'm taking a shower, and his bedroom was right off the shower, and I just walked into the shower. He says, I'm back. I hope he's talking to Zeba.
Yeah, right.
I don't know if I say, okay.
I think he said something like, are you happy to see me?
He says, I'm back. You happy to see me?
So there's a before and after that story. So after it all got settled, we got Zeba on the right bus. Later that day or something, I went up to Jim. I said, "Are you okay with the Zeba thing?" He says, "Well, Roof, I'm doing okay, but Zeba was upset."
What you forgot to say is Zeba ended up 10 miles away from us.
Yeah.
Oh,
because the other bus had further to go, and with a 10 o'clock start, they had to get going, and that's why there was no Zeba. Zeba was just going down the 2 lanes with a bus full of strangers.
Well, that group hunted
with the food ran out.
And bus full of sandwiches. Let's not leave out the part of the story that the guide was petting the dog the entire time, not realizing it was his dog.
Wyatt was the other guide, right? And he runs labs, right?
Correct.
So your customers thought it was one of Wyatt's dogs.
Yeah,
Wyatt
they
thought
no reason to doubt it.
Wyatt thought it was one of the gunner's dogs. So everyone's all petting Zeba. But while this was happening, I was running late in my car, right? So I'm getting my boots on, I'm all disheveled, and I hear people whistling, I'm coming. I thought it was Casey.
You thought you didn't yell that.
Yelled at me, and they were just looking for Zeba.
John, how the heck did you end up here?
Let's do just a little tin background.
Well, we know a little bit of it, so let's see if he brings it out.
Pheasants when I was a teenager in Michigan. Mm-hmm. And I haven't hunted for anything with a shotgun for decades.
Decades.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
And my son Troy invited me out here, and
That was 3 years ago?
3 years ago. Yeah. Bought a new shotgun for this hunt. And Troy warned me that the thing would have a wicked recoil. It's a lightweight 12 gauge over under.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to admit that in front of Troy. You know, he can,
Right. He won't listen to this. He's not across the table.
that freaking thing makes me flinch.
Does it really?
Oh yeah. Yeah, that thing kicks my ass. But no, it's fun.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, from saying like you could almost identify as a non-hunter. You have hunted since you were a teenager.
I'm probably a rookie like you wouldn't believe compared to these guys.
Right.
We got quick drawers here that
Yeah.
they shoot a bird before they know what sex it is sometimes.
Well, the grouse was that's okay. It's not in here.
Did you guys get any grouse while you're on?
I didn't see one.
Let's see you on this truck.
Didn't see one this trip.
But it's good fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm learning, you know.
Yeah. Well, and you feel like you guys like the familiarity with this is how you flank, this is how you block.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah.
I really like Sergeant Casey's emphasis on safety.
Yeah.
I think it's really good.
Well, safety in your occupation is important.
Yeah.
Well, in every occupation, isn't it, Russ?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even at
a big company. Even at big company.
Even at a big company.
You know.
Yeah, well, sorry.
No, it's a well-run operation. You know, I feel safe here, and
Had plenty of wine. If they kept you, oh no, you had to make a wine run, did you? Ooh, one demerit, only one demerit. you and Bill had to make a wine run, didn't you?
Well, he wanted a certain vintage out of 25% Californian, 25% Spaniard.
Hey, Chase, your mom gonna listen to this podcast?
No chance.
Okay, good.
yeah, we could talk about the wine.
Well, you guys actually took the wine run because you just wanted to pal around with Bill for a while and drink wine on the road.
So to speak.
So to speak. What do you mean when you
Yeah, I mean, back here, yeah, but
you
going out and coming, right, a little camaraderie.
Yeah. No, it's good fun. It's great.
Yeah.
And it gives Troy and I a chance to hang out together. And
Yeah, otherwise you can't hang out that much at home. You still work. Troy works.
Troy works.
Yeah.
He's got a family.
Father-son team.
Yeah.
It's 40 hours of togetherness, whether we like it or not, getting here and back.
That's
what's good roads.
He did point out to me that if I wasn't such a slacker, I'd probably have an airplane that could fly back and forth.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you?
Yeah, you know, it was important to me, you know, when I started coming out here that it bring Dad out too, and you know, kind of make a tradition out of it.
Yeah,
Hopefully someday, you know,
to me, that's what most hunting is for me. I don't care about. Everybody loves to shoot birds. I won't say I don't. I love when one drops to the barrel, but if it wasn't for coming with friends, it wouldn't be hunting to me. I hear so many guys. Whoa, table went. I hear so many guys say, I wouldn't hunt if I couldn't hunt with my own dogs. I'm like, you haven't had enough dogs in your life. I like having the breaks from my dogs with other people's dogs. It's fun.
And hanging out with people.
And hanging out with the people. That's where it always goes.
All in New York, Michigan.
Yeah, you meet
Idaho,
from all over the country. Yeah,
we're coming here from all over the places.
Well, you know, everyone talks about bringing youngsters hunting, but I've been saying for years that it's starting to get some traction. Mm-hmm. Bring an old timer hunting.
There you go. We're going to wrap it up on that.
Yeah,
bring an old timer hunting.
That's right.
And bring in the White Lake Hunting Lodge.
Right? You can bring them to White Lake Hunting Lodge, and that's right.
They treat the old timers well.
Yeah, they do.
And do I have to tell people, like, go to www.whitelakelodge.com?
No, you forgot to say http://.
Okay.
It's really important. People forget that.
Okay, so say that again. So how would it go again, Wolf?
http
Semicolon.
might be might be S.
There's a friend. Secure http://
semicolon
/ White Lake Hunting Lodge
.com.
.com, and then this place will show up,
Right.
and people can hear what.
Even though .com was originally started for communications.
Okay.
And
What if somebody were to just type in White Lake Lodge? Would it show up?
yeah.
Okay. All right. Love you guys. Love you girls. Love you girls more.